Hello and welcome to the Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. I'm your host, Will Lou. A reminder, we are streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and airing live on Sportsnet 360 Monday to Friday between 2 and 3 p.m. Joined by producer and co-host Alex Wong, who I was able to catch up with yesterday before the show. And even though we both work here, we split ways before I came here to interview Thad, which was great, and talk to Oren. And Alex, what were you doing, man?
Yeah, I was making sure that the show was good. I was messaging Raptors PR, making sure that Thaddeus Young was out of his cold tub, so then he could dial you at around 2:03 p.m. Impressive monologuing up top by you yesterday. So
Yeah.
props.
This what we call in the industry is just tap dancing a little bit.
Is that what they call it in the industry? I think that's just a term that we've
That's what
created.
That's what our producer Derek says.
Yeah, shouts to Derek.
It's like
Brandale.
Alex can't tap dance for
Always.
5 minutes at the top of Saturday shows every Saturday.
Yeah, that's why they removed it. So
Did
great.
they? Is that breaking news?
Anyways, so great Thad Young interview
Thank you.
yesterday.
Thanks.
He is the teammate of the year. And I love the tidbits about him telling Scottie the first time he saw him. He was just like, "You're special.
Yeah.
Like, you're special. You don't need to take these crazy fouls. I've got this." Basically, the speech that I gave you before we started this show this season. I said, "Listen, Will, you're special.
Yeah.
Don't send those crazy tweets. Let me do that." And
You don't send crazy tweets either.
I know.
That's still me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still you.
So it makes me special.
Yeah, that's what makes you Scottie.
Okay.
So no, great interview. Everybody should
Thanks,
every player should come on the show. I feel like their
Yeah.
Q rating goes up. And okay, like all jokes aside, it's like it does show a different side to these players, especially someone like Thad Young, which the Raptors fan base, I'm sure they watch basketball, they know Thad Young, but they probably didn't even really know him as a person, as a teammate. So I think it's great insight.
Yeah, no, it was first off, Thad was just great guest, was very insightful, very open, was pretty much game to talk about whatever. Like, I think it could have been uncomfortable to talk about the trade deadline. A lot of players just kind of like sidestep that kind of stuff. We sort of took it down in terms of like when the Raptors came into the picture, what options were on the table for him, the way the Spurs treated him, which was cool. I thought the fact that the Spurs were like, look, we're willing to give you the whole salary, and then you could latch on to another team if you want to afterwards. But Raptors stepped in. And I think the coolest part, I agree, is just the leadership and the advice that he was giving to guys like Scottie and Precious. I think that was look, it's not the main reason you bring them in. And obviously when you use a first round pick and essentially you slide down in the draft like 10, 12 spots, like obviously you're looking for the encore production as well. And I think there's definitely a case to be made for Thad to perform even better on the floor. Although, to be fair, I don't think it's like you need him to like give you 15 points off the bench or something like that. I don't think that's what he was brought here to do. But I think the intangibles was really clear. When you just speak to the man, when you just hear the man speak, like it's I don't know. There's something to be said about having a wise head beside you. And that's your role in this team. You're Thad Young now. You're also I've compared you to Nate Bjorkgren, the consultant.
Yep.
Compared you to what was Kawhi's guy?
Oh, Jeremy Castleberry.
Jeremy Castleberry.
Wow,
yeah.
you just know him as Kawhi's guy now?
No, just follow me from workplace to workplace. 3 in a row now, by the way. Just to be clear. What else?
Did I follow you to the score? Anyways.
You did. I was already at the score,
okay,
so you followed me to the score. You followed me
another one.
You followed me to here. Love working with you, obviously. And I've compared you to Jimmy Butler as well. Jimmy was very topical yesterday.
Yeah. Saw 2 of my idols, Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem.
I thought he was going to say Eric Spoelstra.
Go at it.
Asian excellence.
and
Okay.
Eric Spoelstra as well. Yeah, he culture is crumbling. Culture is crumbling. The East is wide open for the Raptors, but what they need to do is win tonight's game. It's the game. It's the game of the year. The season officially starts tonight for me. Appreciate you doing all the coverage for the first 72 games, but
okay.
the season starts tonight.
Yeah.
So
wow.
So I'm excited. Obviously, the Raptors are hosting the Cavs, and we know that the Cavs are 1 game up in the standings, in the 6th spot. They've also got the tiebreaker. So by all accounts, it's a must-win tonight.
Yeah.
A loss tonight, and I think we should start talking about the play-in again.
Well, we're only 2.5 games up. Thankfully, Brooklyn lost yesterday to Memphis. Yeah, this is a very, very important game. Unfortunately, Cleveland also had 2 days off to rest, so this will be mostly a fair fight. In terms of just like having the guys here. Obviously, Cleveland has a bunch of injuries. The Raptors have some injuries too. We'll see if Fred's game to game, basically. Gary's listed as questionable. OG's questionable. We'll see. But, yeah, this is a must-win.
Man,
it's a play-in into the play-in, man.
Yeah, the play-in before the play-in. That's what you've branded this. But, yeah, OG, I know he's trying to feel out that broken finger. Why doesn't he just go out there, just play defense?
Well, I mean, OG got to go through a little bit of practice yesterday. I mean, I don't think it was, like, super intense for anybody, ultimately. But he got to go on adult back. Look, listen, you and I were at practice. We have lots of reporting to do.
Yeah, practice report coming. We've been to, I think, like 4 practices this season. And to be honest, a lot of it is because of the timing of this show, right?
That's exactly
like it doesn't make sense for us to be able to go. And even yesterday was a bit of a rush, which we'll get into. But I feel like every time we go to practice, it's about 35 minutes of content.
Yeah.
Which is great.
No, there's lots happening at practice. So we'll give you the behind the scenes look, obviously, and honestly, just genuine reporting. But OG went through some practice and was around. And what did Nick say? Nick said his own personal gut feel is that if he can get 5 games in the last 10, I think he'd be pretty happy with that. Ramp him up, game to games. First game he comes back, plays 20, maybe 25, 30, 35, and then eventually work his way up to playing 50 minutes a game like he was before the injury.
Yeah, what's the plan for Fred, man? Is it like
no
de-escalating? He's going to play 35, 30, 20, 10, 5, out?
You're just dropping him in. No matter what, he's only going to play 40 minutes.
Fred's, I know we talk about this, but like Fred, clearly the most reliable player, very important player on this team.
Yes.
And to not know what you're going to get from him, what you're going to get from him on a night-to-night basis, even with the right knee soreness. You're going to get the competitiveness. He's going to be out there fighting. But, the results have been mixed. And that's because of the injuries. So, I know, as crazy as it sounds to say, like tonight, I think, someone like Scottie, 20-year-old rookie, is going to have to set the tone. Yeah. Scottie and Pascal.
Yeah, and let's be real. The Raptors, dropping the last game, and even that Philly game was very close. Some of that just came down to Scottie didn't play well in those 2 games. And this is the level he's gone to, where he's been that important. Obviously, guys missing in the lineup, so someone's got to fill in. But Scottie's that important. Even Thad talking about it yesterday. He's like, our main guys are, Fred, Pascal, and then he says Scottie too. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they account for, I think, 80% of the scoring right now. So,
well, I was going to say, then again, I was thinking about it more, and I was like, well, since Thad has been here, Scottie's literally averaging like 20 a game. So how would you not call him one of the main guys?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I also love Thad just being like, yeah, first game I checked in, I looked around, we didn't have a center.
Yeah.
And Fred's like, yeah, we don't do that here.
Yeah. No, none of that. We're not doing that anymore.
It is nice to hear someone like on the team and someone who just joined the team recently talk about how in his 15-year career, this is the most unique roster he's been a part of.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. Like I felt like you did get some insight from him about just what that is like, right? Like what the strategies are when you're out there playing with all the 6'9" forwards and things of that nature. So shouts to Thad Young. Thad Young helped produce today's show too, because we were at practice yesterday.
Oh, it's practice report time. Let's
scheduled to do a pre-tape interview with Thad. And then listen, it's all good. We know players have their routines after practice.
Of course.
And like, as media, like we are just, nuisances that just get in their way.
No. Come on.
Oh, okay. You're pro media. I'm anti media. I got it.
They clearly, their first job is to perform and take care of their bodies.
Yeah. Make a lot of money. But yeah, so he was in the cold tub. And then he was getting a massage, I believe. So what ended up happening was me and you got to hang around for 2 hours at practice.
That's right.
And then watch a lot of things unfold.
Yeah.
So where should we start? You watch Precious shoot some corner threes a little bit, reminded you of you at the park, or what's going on?
No, I think I was really impressed because this is something that Serge used to do, where you would go into OVO, last 10 minutes of practice, you got let in, the media gets let in, you come in and like most guys are still shooting around and doing their warm-up stuff. After about like 15, 20 minutes, most guys filter out. And then there's just like, there's like 2 full courts and then 2 extra rims. So there's like 6 rims in the facilities. And then you'll see like guys doing individual work. And then eventually guys will filter out. And I'm like, usually I'm always curious to see who's the last guy there. Precious was the last guy there. That he was right in front of us doing drills, whether it was finishing in contact, in traffic, left hand, right hand, with the trainer there, bumping him, whatever. Obviously, he's supposed to score on trainers, but still, like, finishing drills, 3-point shooting drills, open threes, catch and shoot threes, movement threes, guys closing out, contested threes. Like, he was doing all of that. And he was literally there pretty much as long as we were there. In fact, when we finally left, around 1, and we got there like 11:30. He was still speaking on the podium. So like that's really impressive because that's something Serge used to do all the time. It's almost basically the exact same spot, exact same drills, exact same trainers actually. Maybe they just put him on the Serge program, but anyway, that was cool to me to see. Wasn't making a lot though, but it's fine.
I love how you left that until the end of the report.
No, I mean he got tired towards the end. I think.
No, of course. Same as you at the park last Friday.
Yeah.
The parallels are really
That's not
hard.
promising to say out loud.
The parallels are hard to ignore at this point. No, I like the Surge comparison. Also feel like there's a same level of excitement whenever Precious shoots a three, similar to when Surge used to do that.
Okay.
Remember in the playoffs? Remember that game 7-3
over Ben Simmons?
Oh,
okay,
man.
so what's this mean? Precious is gonna hit a late 3 against
Dean
Ben
Wade
Simmons in the
okay.
7-8 playing
I thought
game?
you were talking tonight.
Oh, I would love that actually.
Yeah.
Remember the last game where Precious scored all 8 of the Raptors' bench points
On national TV.
on national TV in a 4-minute span, and then the Raptors' entire bench didn't have a single point for the last 3 quarters.
Yeah, put tonight's game on national TV. Let's see
No,
this
don't.
Raptors team.
No,
Yeah.
hide this team. Hide
this
it.
team.
Just have the radio.
Yeah,
broadcast.
replay it. Let's see how the result goes. We'll see what kind of tweet we get from you at 11:51 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
I think we're putting the well-adjusted, holistic approach
No, it's the holistic approach again
straight to
after
the test tonight, man. I'm very interested to be in that radio booth, man. Can't wait. But yes, we also ran into friend of the program, Yuta Watanabe.
That's right.
To be honest, every
Genuine friend of the program.
genuine friend of the program. But to
Yeah.
be honest, like every time we walk in that practice facility, I think Utah is just like,
Again?
all right,
Again?
what do you guys need me for? Let's sit down and
What-
do this.
Tell me about Kenkyu.
Yeah. Would you do
Shoshin and Kenkyu.
Would you do an interview with Utah? I feel like you
Of
you have.
course.
Oh, okay.
Of course I would.
Okay.
On
That's not-
publicly, when you're pressing me like this,
Oh,
of
okay.
course
Okay,
I would
okay.
do that.
Privately, it was a different answer.
No,
yesterday,
but it
that's
was
fine.
cool. It was cool seeing Yuta. Obviously, he was also one of the guys, getting extra shots up. And afterwards, I was just gonna let him leave because I'm a cool person. You're like, hey, Yuta, come over. Yeah.
I was like, Utah, come over. I'm
And
like,
he did.
I
He did.
straight
We
up the
chatted for
first-
like 10 minutes.
Straight
It's
up, the
great.
first thing I asked him, I was like, when are you guys going for ramen?
I don't have his number.
And I think he was like, I'm ready anytime. And that was your opportunity. I was like, just pull out your phone, grab his number, exchange it, get it done. But you're a respectful person. You're respectful of players' times,
Yeah.
players' routines.
Mhm.
So that's the end of it. We're never talking about that again.
No, I
I
mean,
set it up for you. That was an alley oop. That was that LeBron James,
That was
Dwayne
like-
Wade alley oop.
as pressure free, that was like the opportunity.
Yeah. And
It was not on camera. It was not on record. It was just
and
you.
you just, turnover.
He was done.
Turnover.
He was done his workouts. He was done his day.
Yeah. Turnover. Westbrook the other way. 11% from 3. Swish.
Okay, all right, man.
That's what happened
What's wrong
yesterday.
with you? Why would you say this out loud?
That's what happened.
Ah,
But yes, we did check in on Utah and we asked because the Raptors have been on the road a lot. Like how many days have they actually like been home since the All-Star break?
yeah, very few. And the thing is, Alex is. I don't know. You just. I thought you had more chill with the players sometimes, but usually you do. This time I don't know because you were like, "Hey, Utah, I saw you had ramen in Utah. Did you have it there?" And he's like, "No."
He
I was
did
like,
have
and then
ramen
you're like,
in Utah.
"What about in Portland?" He's like, "Yeah, I had
Portland,
it there."
yes.
You're literally like, this is what happens when my mom calls me. She's like, what have you been eating of late? And just
Yeah.
like, are you good? Is everything fine? Just like the persistent like questioning was
No, but like this
very
is
parenting.
this is
very
Utah.
parent-esque.
This is Utah Watson. Well, I'm 10 years older than Utah, first of all. So,
What?
Yeah, I'm 37. How old is Utah?
Oh my god.
Yeah, do that check right now. But I just wanted to see if he was having ramen on the road. And I was still trying to leave the door open for you to hit him up.
Yeah, you're 10 years old. Wow.
There we go. So why wouldn't I speak to him as if he was my... No, I was going to say he's my child. He's not my child. But yes, that's why there's a parenting concern. I want to make sure
Yeah.
he's eating well on the road.
Yeah.
And he said that he's been ordering ramen
Yeah.
on a food service app. And he's like, it's just not the same as going in to a ramen shop.
Right.
So there we go. We also asked if he wanted us to ask Nick Nurse to play him.
Oh,
more.
that's right. Because we
And
said
he was like,
we
please.
will
And he
eventually
was
talk
like,
to Nick.
yeah,
and
he was like, please don't do that.
We're
Is
like,
basically what he said.
I was like, hey, like, come on, that Chicago game. You guys were tired on the road. What put you in the
Yeah.
game? And he's like, no, please don't.
like, please don't get me in trouble.
No, I respect that. I was
Yeah.
trying, man. I was trying for my boy.
Yeah. So
Speaking of my boy, though, Fred.
Oh, okay. You have
Yeah.
a lot of guys on your team who could
No,
be your boy. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, no, there's nobody on the
Because
team.
I heard,
who's my boy.
does Chris Boucher give you a head nod or something? You told me.
Yeah,
this?
I'm going on the pod.
Are you just making
tomorrow,
that up?
man? Tomorrow. No, I'm serious. He was walking over with somebody and saw me, and he had headphones on as he always does.
But he
and
gave you a
had-
nod.
Yeah, it's all cool.
Okay, maybe he was nodding
Anyway,
at
we're
me.
speaking to him tomorrow. Well, I mean more me.
You are. I'll be there as security. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Really
right.
just
Interview of the
showing up
Century
as-
is actually happening. It's actually great.
Yes.
Great news. We have tangible news on that front.
Yes.
Tomorrow it'll be recorded.
Me-
Who knows when it'll come
yep.
out, but whatever. Yeah.
Me and Will walking in that studio like brother Muzone and Omar. The
Wait.
Wire.
No, I think you got the roles reversed. I'm walking in like Stringer.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, you're Stringer.
yeah.
Anyways,
You're Avon. You're selling me out in this situation.
we also let Yuta know, friend of the program, Takashi, told us that he would like to come to Toronto if the Raptors make a bit of a playoff run.
That's right.
So we put that pressure on Yuta as well. He didn't seem to want that pressure either. So
well, I mean,
there's our Yuta Watanabe mini interview of the century.
there we go.
recap.
Yeah. But that was not all the Utah content because at one point Fred came over.
Yeah, so you need to give the
So you need to-
context of what Utah was doing at that point.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it was technically okay. So whatever. He's shooting some free throws or whatever, right?
Yes.
Um.
He was missing. I think he was missing the free throws.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. He was missing, and then
Yeah.
Fred came over.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, go get your boy, Dad."
And I
I was like, "Oh, come on, man."
I told Fred to
and
stop
that's when
bullying.
the Utah propaganda died. Right there. Right
stop
there. Fred
bullying.
coming over in full sweats, just chilling. And then you were like, "Why is Fred walking?"
No,
You
someone
really
should
you really wanted Fred to just be
get on a scooter. Someone should carry Fred from practice to his car. Like we need to
Really?
manage. Yeah, we need to manage
It's not
the
that
injury.
bad, man. Come on.
I told Utah this too. I'm like, yo, you guys need to figure out something. Do something with Fred's knee, man. Figure that out.
Okay.
It's a huge.
Yeah.
Is that not the number one concern for you? Right now?
Absolutely, it is.
Is that not like
actually.
the number
slightly,
one-
Slightly ahead of Brooklyn. Slightly.
Oh yeah. Man, I just got the
You
chills
just
when you said
shivered.
Brooklyn,
You
man.
physically shivered.
I just
Wow.
pictured KD just making any shot. It does not matter how many defenders are on him.
Nah, he's going like this to Fred.
No. KD's looking at the whole 6'9" roster and going like this, doing that finger thing that he's been doing, the size thing. Because no wingspan is going to be able to catch Kevin Durant when he's on fire
We'll see, man. We're gonna
in the
double team
fourth
him.
quarter.
We're
And
gonna
you
trap
saw
him. That's
and
it.
you saw the news, right?
What?
So, Mayor of New York, Eric Adams, officially announced today
Yeah.
that unvaccinated athletes are allowed to play in the city of New York again. So Kyrie Irving, that drama is over now.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, he played this the way you would play me in Heads Up. He folded. He heard a little trash talk and he folded. Which, whatever.
I feel like
He
this
still
was,
can't play in Toronto though.
yes.
That's the main thing for me.
Well, I think, yeah, and I think that's why it's so imperative for the Raptors to at least stay in the 7th seed.
Get the 6th seed. If not the 6th seed, make sure you get the 7th seed.
Yeah,
if you
if
fall
it's-
below 7,
if
you're
you-
really in trouble.
If you
man.
fall below the 7, the season might be over in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The season really might be over in 3 weeks, but, we'll see.
What other details in here? Man, there's one detail in here. I'm deleting this from the rundown, man. You cannot put this out on air.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
Shouts
Anyway,
to
what other
Masai
shout-outs you
Ujiri.
have? Shouts to Masai, man. He was there. I was actually a little surprised to see Masai there because usually around this time of year, like, there's a lot of the scouting going on. I know he was at the Leafs game yesterday. He was demonstrating and showcasing the new Leafs jersey, which I know you would like to publicly beg on air. To
Yeah,
get
can
one.
you please just beg on air for 2 jerseys? Those are amazing. The Justin Bieber collab.
I want the Chinese New Year collab, so
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
why we're gonna get it.
No,
but
those are wonderful jerseys. I mean, if I'll start the Jack Campbell agenda on the show.
who is that?
Anyways, it's
What?
fine. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
all right. Anyway, shout out to Masai. Yeah, he was there. I was a little surprised because like usually around this time, like the GMs are going to NCAA tournament and not scouting there because like obviously the level of scouting goes beyond just looking at the tournament. It's also the other like divisional tournaments, things like that. But
No, Masai's passed off all the basketball ops duties
you're just gonna all right.
to Bobby Webster.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Masai,
One day I'm gonna interview Masai and I'm gonna reveal that.
Yeah,
you
no,
said
you
that
should.
about him live on air.
You should reveal that.
Okay.
What else, man? I heard I have to address this Miles Bridges reference Pascal Siakam
Yeah, that's
in a
right.
rap song. So I think we have a clip here.
Oh, we do? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, that we're gonna play of Miles Bridges on the
Miles
rap song.
Bridges is a Charlotte Hornets forward.
He's a Charlotte Hornets forward. What a sentence.
He's
Yeah,
actually a pretty good player, but he's also apparently a better rapper. Let's hear it.
And about that 3K bet, I spent that on a bag though. Took her on a trip and then I spent her like Siakam. I keep going back and forth with my exes, they call me Malcolm. I popped up on my timeline, made me want to whack him.
So spun her like Siakam is basically the reference.
Yes,
The
yes.
spin move.
Yeah.
Man.
What do you think?
Took
Okay,
her
so-
on a trip and then I spent her like Siakam. I keep
yeah, there you go.
Pascal Screaming and One is a better song. Is all I'm gonna.
Oh,
say.
when you pulled out your phone, I was really worried because do you have bars prepared? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I probably have some.
Okay.
Because like we haven't done bars in a while, right?
We haven't. But
And like,
are you really are gonna do this?
I mean, I have some freestyle stuff.
Oh my god! All right, let's go.
No, but I'm saying is like, I actually wanted to ask you.
Yeah, that's right. Backstage Jen in backstage
Because I
just
think there's
vibing
a-
out. She's ready for
Yeah,
this.
shouts to Jen Rolnick who helps us with the YouTube stream. I don't know if she's
Helped us
been
expose
here
Vivek too. It's all
when
good.
we've done freestyles, but like when do you want bars next? Because like the
Right now?
seasons. No, I know. I'll give you a couple now. I don't have a whole
okay.
thing, but it's like when do you want like the real bars? Like I know
What?
there's certain people that get excited, like from wins earlier in the season. Do you want it when they clinch a playoff spot? Like we have to set a benchmark for when the freestyles come, so people can look forward to it.
If they clinch a playoff spot, like top 6,
Yeah, then bars.
we'll do bars. If they don't clinch that,
Then they have to win,
they have
get
to
out
win
of
the
the
play-in
play.
tournament. Then you do it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But in the meantime, your response.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a response to Miles Bridges.
So do we have
I
a
don't.
beat? Do you have
No, we don't need a beat. I just have like 4 lines.
just like Miles Bridges, you don't need a beat.
Here's where I
Make
wrote
sure you
like
stay offbeat like
Here's
Miles
what I
Bridges,
wrote a
man.
few
Go ahead.
months ago. I was just like, me and Will create classics on any day. Even if it's not that fire, I tag it interview of the century anyway. On the mic, we're like Steph and Clay. Will's writing 10 things. I'm cooking up things behind the scenes like Bobby Flay. That's it.
All right.
That's all I have.
All right.
This was like a couple months
I
ago.
think Miles Bridges won this one.
Oh my God.
So
okay,
okay,
we'll put it to
I
a
guess
vote.
the controversy is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Was that a reference, like a shout out, or was it a diss?
Yeah, I think it's just a reference. Yeah. It's
Took
like
her on a
cool.
date
It's
and I
like
spent her
cool,
like
Miles
Siakam.
Bridges. You play with LaMelo, but that all-star spot should have gone to that Pascal fellow.
Oh.
You about to be in the play-in one and done while Pascal's in the first round shouting and one. There, okay?
No, that's freestyle. That's
Okay,
off the
is
dome.
that better now?
That's off the dome.
Okay.
Call this man Ty.
Yeah,
I'm the lethal weapon. I do not finish second.
that's
No,
right.
you didn't finish second
Off-
there. No, you
we're
won. No,
off
you won.
Sportsnet
You won.
360 tomorrow. So
Why?
because of these bars.
No.
Wait, did someone tweet us and was like, "Hey, too many advanced metrics on this show"? I was like,
So
"You
no
only."
more Blake Murphy Tuesdays.
I was like, "You only tune in Tuesday and Wednesdays." Is that
Yeah.
what happened?
Well, you bring stats too.
But
Come on,
listen,
man.
I'm excited about tonight, though.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
I'm excited about
I'm
tonight.
serious. Like, part of the reason why we're joking is because I'm actually nervous.
I love what you just revealed.
No, I'm genuinely nervous.
Why
Like,
do you? Okay, then why do you keep pushing this? I'm, a well-adjusted person agenda. Why are you trying to make this your public persona when I've been in that radio booth? You get nervous every time I mention the radio booth. I've seen too many things.
No, don't please stop talking about it, man. Please. No,
But
I
you're
mean, how could you
nervous.
not be nervous about this game? I'm just
But-
saying,
but
like,
you know what?
it's really important. Like, if they lose this, they're 2 games back,
Yes.
and they don't have the tiebreaker.
But aren't
so
you
they're technically
aren't you
3 games
excited
back.
at the same time too to know that with 10 games left in the regular season, the Raptors are playing one of the most meaningful regular season
Yeah.
games that they've had?
I am excited about that. However, I know a lot of the key players are banged up.
Yeah,
That's
is
what
a big
worries me.
problem.
Yeah. And
you
I think
know-
they're going to make single-digit threes, which means they're going to have to hold the opponent to less than like 80, or not 80, 90 points.
This is the problem with the Raptors is like their blueprint for winning is like so narrow because they're going to make 7 threes. They're going to shoot like 37% from 3 and from the field.
30, I would take 37, man.
Kidding
Kidding
me?
me? 27 I'll take.
They're missing like 6 free throws. They have to win the possession battle.
By at least 10.
Yeah.
You got to take at least 10 more shots. than
And
the
right now, given the roster and the injuries, you really don't know where that secondary scoring is coming from.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like other teams in this range are perfect either. Like, I think Chicago, for example, the Raptors lost to them, but like,
Yeah,
it's an
does
eminently beatable team to me. And then you look at a team like Cleveland in their current state right now, I anticipate essentially what the Raptors did to Garland last time when they went into Cleveland and lost. It wasn't because of their it wasn't because of their defense. Their defense was good. And the reason their defense was good is because they're able to trap Garland and basically force the ball out of his hands. The rest of the Cavs, obviously, they can hit threes and stuff. If they do that, the Raptors probably don't win. But if they don't have a lot of playmakers otherwise to sort of generate that kind of offense. So
Yeah, I just don't
that's
want.
on the line.
I just
the
don't want Dean
undercard,
Wade.
by the way,
Yeah, what's the
is
undercard?
the Rookie of the Year.
Oh, I don't think that's the undercard.
What?
I think that's the main event, man.
The main event is getting to the playoffs, man. I don't care about Rookie of the Year
right,
like that.
right. Okay.
What?
You're getting very intense for me.
I'm too nervous.
Yeah.
It's the tension coming
No,
in.
but like so obviously last week you talked to Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer, and he folded within 15 minutes and said, "Yep, you got the Rookie of the Year vote for me."
Yeah.
For
We're gonna do that again?
Scottie. Yeah, so hopefully after the break, we'll give Tim Bontemps from ESPN a call and have you talk to him.
Okay.
So it's actually interesting because like all these different reporters, obviously they follow the game closely, but have different approaches to voting
Yeah.
and really have different approaches to, how like different personalities too, right? So I'm interested to see how many of these people you can, convince.
Look, I'm just saying when Scottie accepts Rookie of the Year, I just,
Yeah,
want to.
the Raptors show, these interviews is going to be the swing vote. That's what I want.
You know what? Actually, we should specifically target swing voters. Like we're not gonna
What is
get.
this,
We're
an
not gonna
election?
get the. We're not. No.
We're
Listen.
only going to the swing states?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
well,
on, man?
listen,
So New York reporters and LA only?
No, listen. If you're the Democrats, you're not really campaigning in New York or California, okay? But you might go to Ohio. That's what I'm trying to say. We need to go to like in this case, we're not going to get Austin Carr or whoever from Ohio come on, Jason Lloyd.
So
we
we're
know that those votes are secured for Mobley. We need to get the swing votes.
Yeah, how do we get Cade Cunningham to not be like a number 2 pick of people's ballots right now too? We need to think about
Cunningham's
that.
the NDP of this rookie of the year race, man. They're not getting anywhere.
We're off air for many reasons.
It's okay. A coalition at this point. All right, that's a good spot for us to take a break. I'm your host, Walu. You've been listening to The Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Welcome back to the Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. I'm your host, Will Lou. I'm joined in the second segment by ESPN's Tim Bontemps. Timmy, good times. What's going on, man?
Not much, Will. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. And listen, Tim, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. I'm just going to be very honest about this. My goal is very clear. I'm going to try to campaign for votes on behalf of Scottie Barnes, I'm
aware of why you're having me on the show.
Well, no, listen, there's other reasons to have you on, Tim. You're one of the best reporters in the game. But, of course, I have to do this on behalf of the fan base because the Raptors fans want to see Rookie of the Year go into the hands of Scottie Barnes and also perhaps an All-NBA spot.
Fans care just too much about awards in general. But we'll get to that more in a minute, I'm sure.
That's right. And I got to say, I mean, listen, Kevin O'Connor was here last week, and he is now immensely
I saw you successfully browbeat him into voting for Scottie Barnes. So that was a good job by you. I was impressed.
Thank you. My goal is that when Scottie lifts the trophy, he'll point to me in the crowd and say it was all because of him. No, I'm kidding. But listen, this is something that I think for a lot of Raptor fans, this is something that they want to know about. And I'll just start here.
Sure.
Then. Where is Scottie for you in the Rookie of the Year race on your ballot?
He's second to Evan Mobley, where he's been for most of the season, and I'm pretty certain is where he'll wind up. And it's funny, I get bombarded every day with messages from fans about voting, right? Obviously, I do the straw poll for the MVP ballot a few times a year. I'm doing another one. It's going to be out next week. Mm-hmm. And so fans are constantly asking me, where's the MVP race, right? Who's going to win MVP? Why is Nikola Jokic not getting more votes? Why is Joel Embiid not getting more votes? Why is Giannis not getting more votes? Everybody who doesn't vote for their guy is stupid. And it's the same thing with Rookie of the Year, right? Like, Cade Cunningham has been great the past couple months. So all these Pistons fans will message me and say, how could you vote for anybody but Cade Cunningham? He's awesome. Obviously, Raptors fans are very vocal about Scottie Barnes. How could you vote for anybody but Scottie Barnes? He's awesome. Cavs fans, the same way with Evan Mobley. So basically, the way I look at this race this year is in a normal season, these guys would be runaway winners, both of them, for the award, right? Both Scottie and Evan have been great. They've been great on winning teams. They have, as you know, Will, it's very rare that you have rookies contributing to winning basketball. Mm-hmm. And both those guys are doing that. And if you look at their stats, they're pretty much even across the board. There's little differences here and there, but it's more or less the same, right? So for me, ultimately, why I've sort of leaned Evan's direction all year, and I think I'm going to end up leaning that way on my final ballot, is when you look at this Cavaliers team, they have been an absolute dumpster fire since LeBron left, right? And Evan Mobley gets drafted, comes into this team, and the franchise has completely transformed largely as a result of that one transaction. Yes, they made other moves, like Ricky Rubio helped early in the year. Darius Garland took a step forward. Jared Allen took a step forward. But I think a lot of that stuff was driven by the presence of Evan Mobley. And I'm sure Raptors fans will say, well, why are you penalizing Scottie Barnes for being in a great organization that has a great track record of developing players, that has guys like Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, and even though he hasn't played much this year, OG Anunoby, guys around him, great coach and Nick Nurse. So I don't look at it as penalizing Scottie, who I think is going to be a hell of a player, and I'm sure we'll talk more about him in a second. But I think ultimately when I'm trying to break a tie, which I basically thought it is all year, I've gone back and forth on it, I just think the overall impact that Mobley's had on the Cavs, turning them into a competent team going forward, I think is enough to tip me in the direction of voting for him.
You know what? That's fair. I actually haven't heard that argument specifically presented in that way, which I think is valid. I think it's definitely a big credit to him because, as you mentioned, the Cavs have just not been a good organization. I mean, at some point, though, the addition of Allen was really, really big for them. Obviously, they got him at the trade deadline last year. They re-signed him. They signed him to big money. He's performed well. He made the All-Star team. And I think Garland is really just like, especially of late where the Cavs have really just been wrecked with injuries. He has been incredible, like double-digit assists every single night.
No question. He's played really well too. But I think, to me, a lot of the stuff that's changed for them is driven by Mobley's insertion into the lineup, and it just like they're and part of it is Allen and Garland too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Evan Mobley's not Tim Duncan, right? But he's having the impact he's had on their team from a winning standpoint and just turning around where the team was to where it is. Like, you probably have to go back to Tim Duncan to find a guy that's had that much of an impact on a team. Now, obviously, he's not the same prospect that LeBron James was, but remember, LeBron missed the playoffs his first 2 years in the league. So, like, for them to be in the playoff picture and for everything to have shifted the way it has, I think, again, because it's trying to find a tiebreaker, really, between those two guys. Like, I think Cade has been great. I think Cade is going to be great. I think he's a clear third for me. I think Scotty's been awesome all season. I'll be the first to say, I thought when the Raptors jumped up to fourth, I thought it was a franchise-changing moment because I thought they had a chance to draft Jalen Suggs fourth, and I thought he was going to be a perfect fit for the Raptors and, could kind of slide in right next to Fred VanVleet, and it would work great. And I was stunned when they took Scottie Barnes. And you know what? The Raptors made the right call. And I still think Jalen Suggs is going to be a really good player, but Scottie's a 6'10" monster that can do just about everything on the court. So this is why I said earlier, fans get very worked up about awards every year, but like Giannis didn't win Rookie of the Year. He's worked out just fine. If Scottie Barnes finishes second in Rookie of the Year to Evan Mobley, which I would guess is probably where he's going to wind up, I still think that the Raptors have a franchise cornerstone for the next decade and should be thrilled with what they've got, regardless of whether he gets a trophy or not.
Oh, look, listen, I think everyone knows that in terms of the Raptor fan base. I think the idea that you're going to have Scottie Barnes for another 6-7 years after this is very exciting and enticing. It's franchise changing, genuinely. Like, we could look back at the situation and look at the Raptors doing a very miniature version of what San Antonio did when they tanked 1 year and got Tim Duncan. I'm not saying that Scottie's Tim Duncan. I'm not saying the Raptors are going to win 5 championships, but like it's similar that you really had to endure very little stress to get this amazing reward.
Listen, man, you do not. It is very, very hard to be good for a long time in today's league, right? You know better than anybody.
Yep. Kawhi
comes in for a year, wins a title, and leaves, right? Players move around all the time. You look at Golden State. Golden State went to 5 finals in a row, and I know, obviously, injuries played a part, but look, injuries played a part because those guys played basically an extra season in those 5 years, maybe even 2 seasons, right? When you think about the stress of those playoff games, and that helps contribute to injuries, and they haven't made the playoffs since. The Cavs have LeBron go to 4 finals. They fall off a cliff when he leaves. It's hard to be a consistently good team for 10 years, 12 years. And like you said, for the Raptors to have that, obviously last year was a disaster on every front, right? They get stuck in Tampa. There's no fans. They're on the road all season. They had everything against them. But for them to get lucky in the lottery, and not just get lucky in the lottery, get lucky in the lottery in a year where there is an incredibly rich group of talented players, and to get the 4th pick and get a guy like Scottie Barnes, who is like I said, a 6'10". Like, I saw him in November and in October, and I was thinking this guy is like a 6'10" version of Andre Iguodala. Like, that's an unbelievable player to get at any draft. So, yeah, I think getting a guy like that in a 1-year bottom out to immediately come back up to where they are now with a great management team, with maybe the best coach in the league, certainly one of the best couple coaches in the league, and Nick Nurse, with guys like Pascal and OG and Fred to play alongside them. There's like this. You're right. You could not have scripted this better if you were the Raptors. And I think going forward, there's going to be a lot of bright days ahead because of a couple of months of pain last year.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, back on the topic, though. Still going to try to come back, maybe impress you a little bit here. Okay, look, if the Raptors finished ahead of Cleveland and they get into that 6th spot, which is possible, Cleveland has the tiebreaker. They play tonight, obviously, big matchup for both teams.
Very possible. Yep.
If the Raptors finish ahead of them, if Scottie continues to do what he's been doing trade deadline, all-star break, which he's been 18, 10, 5 assists, obviously some of that is – he's been phenomenal. He had 31, 17, and 6 against LeBron, although he did have the turnover that led to the Westbrook 3. But let's just forget about that part. 31, 17, and 6. if he does all of that, does that open the door, or is there a path, let's say, to Scottie coming and stealing this at the end? I just want to know there's a possibility. That's all.
I think I'm pretty confident my vote is going to be the way I said before, because I think over the course of the season, I think that's sort of how it's played out. And like I said, it's a slight edge, but I think, I think the way that Cleveland was before, I give Evan a lot of credit for changing a lot of stuff there. And it's not like the Cavs. Like if the Raptors have one more win than the Cavs, I don't think that's going to me, determine whether he wins the award or not. But look, if you ask me, do I think Scottie Barnes can win Rookie of the Year? Yeah, I think he can win Rookie of the Year. And I certainly won't be surprised if he does win Rookie of the Year. Because again, he's had an awesome year and he's really good. And he has been really good for the past couple months. And anybody who's seen him play is I haven't talked to a single person that isn't like, wow, this kid is special. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So, I definitely think he can win. I think I'm probably going to stick with Mobley, barring something truly crazy over the next 10 games. But, if you told me I had the third pick of Scottie, Cade, and Evan this year, I'd be really happy. I think all those guys are franchise cornerstones and are going to be in a lot of all-star games and on all NBA teams. And they're all the kinds of players that you want to build teams around in today's NBA for different reasons, right? They all have different strengths, but you look at the way the Raptors are trying to play with, the quote unquote positionless thing. Scottie can guard different positions. He can handle the ball. His shot still isn't great. It's a little better than it was expected to be. So yeah, I mean, I'm extraordinarily high on him and these other guys. And I think they're going to be good for a really, really long time.
All right. Well, now that we have that settled, I'm going to move on to the next agenda. The Pascal Siakam All-NBA agenda. Look, this one is less I think, it's closer to 50-50 with the Mobley Scottie thing. I think I do expect, lots of first place votes for Scottie, lots of first place votes for Evan. We'll see how it fully breaks down.
Yes.
But I think in the case of the Pascal All-NBA thing, that one's probably going to sneak up on a lot of guys, because I think first off, who's really paying that much attention to top 6 forwards all season and how they're performing? It's a weird way to look at it. And plus, once you get down to the ballot, I'm sure you're probably thinking about, well, it feels weird to not have Embiid and Jokic both on the first team. Maybe I'll move one of them to forward. Maybe I'll move DeRozan to forward. Maybe I'll move Luka to forward.
Right.
So you never really know with these things. But I guess my question to you is, when you just look at, strictly speaking, players that are forwards, are there 6 clear-cut forwards who have performed better than Pascal this year?
To be honest, I have not sat down and really done the research on this yet.
Well, that's what I'm here to help you with that, Tim. Let's do it together.
Listen, I know you have plenty of research. I'm not listening to your research, Will. No offense to you. I think he has a shot. Mm-hmm. I would agree with you. I think it's much less likely than Scottie's to win for a couple of reasons. One, like you said, I am not going to have Embiid and Jokic on the first team. Good. One of them will be on first team and one of them will be on second team.
Because neither of them are forwards. I hate this idea that you can just split them up. Come on.
Yes. I get very annoyed at I love All NBA. I spend more time thinking about who's going to be on my All NBA ballot than any other thing I vote on at all. Because I think if you look at the history of the league, you go back through and look at who was on the All NBA team every year, you really get a sense of who the best players in the league are. And so I think it's more important than All-Stars. I think it's more important than just about everything. So I spend a lot of time thinking about it. And obviously, ballots are probably going to be due. They usually do the last day of the regular season. So after this week, I'm probably going to really spend the next 2 weeks really diving in on it. But like you said, because there's a little bit of positional flexibility now with where some of these guys play, it is a little more complex with the guard and forward spots to figure out who's going to be where. And I haven't really gone through and exactly laid out who my 6 guys would be, but Pascal is going to get consideration. I think it's more of a long shot for him because of the fact that, he didn't make the All-Star team, right? That's sort of, not that it matters, but if people are sort of going through and making lists in their heads, you're going to start with guys that were on the All-Star team, right? for people who aren't spent because
it makes total sense.
More time on it than most people. So I think that's going to be part of it. But when you look at the way he's playing, I mean, he's averaging 22, 8, and 5, and he's back to shooting the ball better. I mean, he looks back to being the guy that he was pre-pandemic, right? And obviously the last couple of years haven't been at the same level. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just eyeballing it now. I'm going through and looking quick on NBA.com as we're talking. Like, you know, LeBron will obviously be considered.
Of course.
Giannis will be on the first team. Kevin Durant has played 46 games. I think he is going to be an interesting test case to see where he winds up. My expectation is I'll vote for him. He'll probably have played enough games for that.
Yeah.
If he ends up with like 56, 57 games, it's hard to leave KD off that kind of list. You know, I think I said Tatum. But then you get down to like, you know, is Pascal, are you going to choose Pascal, or are you, like you said, will DeMar DeRozan be at forward or will he be at guard for people? Right. Will Luka be at forward or will he be at guard for people? Will LeBron be at forward or guard for people? I've heard, I think Arnovitz Kevin Arnovitz, my colleague, did a podcast, some other colleagues, Zach Lower this week. I think he's going to have LeBron as one of his guards. So
yeah, fair.
I think that if things shift around, especially with some of those positional choices, I think Pascal will have a real shot. And I think too, he more than Scottie, I think if, like, say the Raptors get to 5th, which they can do, obviously tonight's a huge game, like you said. If they end up in 5th ahead of Chicago and ahead of Cleveland, like, people I think are going to start looking at Pascal's resume. The other thing I think that could hurt Pascal is that I think people will probably give some votes to Fred, and I could see both of them sort of getting like the Raptor vote.
Yeah,
you know, where like some people vote for Fred, some people vote for Pascal. They kind of cancel each other out. You know, that's sort of what happened with I don't remember if Devin Booker made it last year, but like with him and Chris Paul, like on MVP and stuff.
Right.
I know in the past editions of the straw poll, some people will vote for Booker, some people vote for CP. Then you have not a lot of people voting for either, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's got a real case. Like the way he's played over the past 45 games, like, or 40 games, he's certainly been at an all NBA caliber level, whether he makes the team or not. He's been awesome, and he's been a huge part, as you know, why the Raptors have turned things around.
Oh, absolutely. I think, look, Fred was clearly the Raptors' best player for the first maybe 2.5 months. But basically, once Pascal overcame that shoulder surgery and really got his defense on point, I think he has been clear. And then also Fred's had some injuries, and that's a bigger concern.
Yes.
But all right.
The knee has clearly been an issue for Fred for a while.
Yeah, that might be as concerning to me as the potential of playing Brooklyn in the play-in series. And we got 5 minutes here. I really want to quickly touch on Brooklyn and then go back to go to the Celtics, because the Celtics are just wow. I mean, they might just be the best team in the Eastern Conference. But yeah,
they might be the best team in the league. It is crazy.
Yeah, it's worrying as a Raptor fan. I mean, at one point the Raptors were clearly ahead of the Celtics in the standings, and now the Celtics are going to finish as the first seed. Yeah, I mean, how did the Celtics turn this around? Can we just quickly go in like 2 minutes into like?
I can give you a very quick answer.
Okay.
The Celtics traded away several bad players. They got back one good player in Derek White, and everybody locked into a role. And it has completely transformed this team in a way I could never have imagined. Like getting rid of Dennis Schroeder, getting rid of Josh Richardson, not playing Enes Kanter anymore, who they've traded, and then was bought out. They bring in Daniel Tice, who hasn't played a lot, but is a useful, versatile big. Raptors fans obviously have seen him plenty in the playoffs. That great series a couple years ago in the bubble. And getting Derek White. And Derek White was exactly the kind of player that the Celtics needed. I wrote a story back in November about the Celtics and why they were struggling. And the point of that story was the idea that you would trade Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum is crazy. Every team in the league is trying to find two-way, versatile, really good young wing players. And what you need to do, though, is surround them with guys who make quick decisions and who can play at both ends of the court. And Derek White is exactly that kind of player. And now they have 7 guys who are all really good defensive players. They're a lot like the Toronto championship team in the sense that they don't have a weak link on the court when they're out there defensively. Like they smother people, and they're now making shots. They move the ball, get open shots, and they're making open threes. So you put that together, and they've become an absolutely devastating team. And it's one of the most remarkable midseason transformations I've ever seen in the league. I'm not sure there's an analog for it. I mean, for the way they have just been absolutely demolishing everybody. I mean, Will, they're 23-4 in their last 27 games, and they're outscoring teams by 16 points per 100 possessions. Like, it is bonkers. And they're smashing good teams. Like last night, they beat Utah by 30. They beat Denver by 30 on the road the other day. Like, they're just obliterating everyone. It's really wild.
Yeah, I think I saw the statistic out there that they were 23-24 at one point in this season, and obviously, they're 23-4.
Since then, they're 23-4. Yeah, that's when their season turned around. It's mind blowing. Yeah, it really is. I've literally never seen a turnaround like this ever.
Yeah, and look, I do hope they get the first seed, because I do think if you're any other team in the East, you probably want to see a team like Brooklyn try to go in there, take them down, because that. Just based on the way I think the Celtics really defend, they like to switch a lot. They like to force teams to play one-on-one. And I don't think there's more dangerous one-on-one threats than Kyrie and KD. And, of course, it would take a lot for Brooklyn to be in the 8th seed. It will require somebody to actually knock them off in the 7-8 game, which will be very tough to do. But, you know.
Well, listen, you wanted to talk about Brooklyn. Yeah. Here's what I'll say about Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yes, the rules have changed, so they can now have Kyrie Irving play in home games, so he still can't play in Toronto. Mm-hmm. But, as I just said, if they play Toronto in the 7-8, Kyrie can't play there. They don't have a lot of good players other than Kevin Durant when Kyrie isn't on the court. I think the Raptors would have every chance to win that game. Then the Nets would be in the 8-9 game. The Nets are also one game up on Charlotte for 10th. The Nets are also 8-12 this year when Kyrie plays. So the idea that there's some juggernaut team, now that they have Kyrie on the team, I just don't buy. They don't guard anyone. They have an imbalanced roster with a bunch of bigs that can't really play in the playoffs. And they also have an imbalanced roster because they have a bunch of 6'2" guys that they have to play. Seth Curry, Goran Dragic, Patty Mills, Kyrie. You think about a matchup with them in Toronto, right? Toronto just has all this length that they could throw at those guys.
That's true.
Obviously, KD is going to go crazy, but the Nets can't guard teams with good wing players. If they play Boston, they could put KD on Jason Tatum, sure, but they have no one to guard Jaylen Brown. He can go crazy on them every game.
Yeah, that's true.
So everybody acts like they're this foregone favorite. Even still, teams are so terrified of them, and I get it. Kevin Durant is a terrifying player if you're on the other team, but I just think this team still has a ton of flaws. I'm not, it certainly seems unlikely Ben Simmons is going to be playing 40 minutes a game. We'll see if he's even able to play, and we'll see if KD and Kyrie can stay healthy. These are guys that have had a lot of injuries, and I don't think it's a guarantee they're going to be able to play for the next 2 months without some kind of injury. And if either one of them is missing, especially KD, this team is going to get annihilated.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of question marks there. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion at all. But, yeah, if you told me that they're in the 9-10 game playing Atlanta, the Nets probably have a 75-80% chance of winning that game. But Atlanta could score 135 points in a game.
That's true, Tim.
They could come in and make 23s, and then the Nets don't even make the playoffs. So we'll see. It's going to be fascinating, and I'm very excited to see what happens here with the Raptors down the stretch. This race with them and Cleveland and Chicago for the 5 seed, 5 to 7, is going to be awfully fun. And I was at the game on Sunday, the Raptors-Sixers game, and I think if Toronto gets Philly in the first round, I think it would be a very, very, very interesting series. So personally, I would love to see that. So I'm hoping that happens because I think it would be very fun to see how that shook out.
All right, fair enough. Tim, appreciate you. Thanks for your time. We'll see what the ballot looks like at the end of the season. But everyone go listen to Tim on the Hoops Collective podcast. It's genuinely one of the best NBA podcasts out there. And that does it for us today. I'm your host, Willow. You've been listening to The Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash. Make sure you find The Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe. And please rate and review our show. Thanks again to our guest, Tim Bontemps, my producer, co-host Alex Wong, our board producer, Derek Brandale, and Jennifer Rolnick for helping us behind the scenes. I'll talk to you soon.